Thanks for staying with us. So over the weekend, Mr. Seyi Awolowo was trending because of some comments he made during a reality show, an ongoing reality show, where he made some really disturbing comments about sexuality, child sexuality. Some of the words we can't see on television, but many of you have probably seen the video on social media. If you haven't, I'm sure you can. If you go online right now, you see it. Unfortunately, we can't play the video. But the crux of what he was saying, let me even try to quote him a bit here, says that he said he will birth boys and they will run trains on people's daughters. The contentious reality housemate was accused of saying that I have opened miscellaneous accounts for my son to use and have intimacy, well, with the street language, with people's daughters. And the housemate said, I'll give him my car key and give him key to the guest house so he can knock people's daughters. I mean, I guess knock is a straight one. All right, so many have reacted to these comments, especially the Lagos State government through the Domestic and Sexual Agency, DSVA. We've had them a few times on this show where we discuss issues that have to do with the girl child, rape victims, and domestic violence. They've condemned this statement, and they specifically said that that statement perpetuates harmful attitude and contribute to a culture of violence and abuse. So, now, when I initially heard the story, I hadn't seen the video. I dismissed it, saying it's probably one of those loose talk that guys just have, amongst themselves. I'm sure he didn't mean it that way. When guys are just talking, they're just speaking. And then 1 hour later, somebody showed me the video. I'm like, my jaw dropped because he was speaking with such intensity, and you could feel that he almost believed everything he was saying. What are your thoughts on not just the conversation, the people around, the idea of having a son whose job would therefore be to run girls? And if you don't know what run is, please go online, check it out. To run girls on people's daughters, run train on people's daughters. This is quite disturbing to many Nigerians, and we'd like to hear your thoughts on it. But as being the mediator here, I have to always find the good side in every story, or understand where the perpetrator is coming from. So we'd like to hear from Nigerians. You can call us on 081-0764-679-09024-163440. You can also tweet to us at TVC Connect. Please hashtag YourView TVC so we can read the tweet. We must add that his management or his people have come to send it. They put out a press release and have asked us to understand that that's not, we should understand the where he is, the reality show, the kind of things boys just talk about loosely. They indeed apologized on his behalf because obviously everybody understood the gravity of what he did. And they've apologized. However, it begs for conversation because a lot of men have these kind of talks. A lot of people have this kind of talks. And we have loose talks all the time and we regret them. But is this one of such, where it was a loose talk that is regrettable, or something that comes from a deep-rooted, misogynistic way of seeing life? That's really the conversation. I don't know who would like to start with. Toby, you want to go? Or?
So for me, Seyi has been controversial throughout this Big Brother. I don't follow Big Brother personally, but when it's trending, you cannot avoid it on social media. Everything will come out, and he's been started to say a lot of things. What he said was all shades of wrong. Like, under no circumstance would you say that kind of thing. Like, we're still living in we're living in a country, in a world that is every day getting more perverse. Like, there is a lot of perversion. People are doing things that we did not grow up seeing as normal. And you cannot say you want to raise your son and you want to give your son budget for runs so that he can run train over other people's daughters, and in the most crude way. Like he said it in a very, very crude, like terrible language. So happy that Lagos State government has spoken up concerning this. I mean, through the domestic violence, I was expecting that Big Brother themselves as an organization would give a very firm reprimand against him. I didn't see that. I've been trying to check. Maybe if somebody has seen it, if I see it, I would mention it, but I don't think it was firm enough, because if it was, it would have trended just as fast. And, you know, some things that if you don't want to permit it in your society, you will quickly cut it off in a very firm way. That is what I love for both Big Brother team as well as Lagos State government, which they did, but maybe they could have done more in terms of saying, take him out, or we're going to, what he said is wrong, that kind of like a legal action against him, so that we paint it as bad as it should be. Because under no account should a man or a father be planning on how his son will wreck another person's daughter's life.
Let me pause you for a second. Mariam, let me come to you. Some will say, why are we being somewhat hypocritical? Because these are what things happen. This happens. You know, lots of guys out there, we see drunks and they have children and they even teach them how to smoke, they teach them how to drink, they do stuff. So why are we pretending like it doesn't happen in our society?
So personally, I think I just need to put it out there that I found what he said appalling.
Yeah.
But I would not pretend to say that I'd never heard it before in different ways. Maybe not as crudely described as he's done, but in many ways, this is a narrative that goes out there.
Absolutely.
Even to the point that women would, in talking to our daughters, to say, it is you that would bear the consequences of this sort of action. But I think, I wanted to highlight something because I had to read comments to find the meaning. He said something about to run trains on girls. So there was a lot of backlash on that because they said what that means, correct me please if I'm wrong, is maybe a girl and then have several boys go at her.
Oh!
That's what that means. So that is why that is complete, you know, that one, I wash my hands.
That's abuse.
Yes, I completely wash my hands. It's either rape, it's some sort of abuse, you know. And that is why a lot of people were screaming and shouting about this. To say to run train on your daughter or girls. Nobody, I don't know why you want to raise your child to be that sort of person. But to be honest, have we had this sort of conversation before? Have people described men like, this is my, look at him, this is my son, he will break hearts, he will destroy these girls. You know, we hear it. And subconsciously, we accept it. In fact, I used to have this conversation with people around me. I say, how is it that you raise your boy to be a sweet boy? The moment he now goes out into the world and is hanging out with peers, he now has a different mindset.
What is expected?
What mindset is he having? Running trains,
Yeah.
calling boys. I say, you're a guy, look at you, mommy's boy, you don't even know what's up. This is how to do it. If you're the sort of boy that likes to be decent with girls and take your time, they call you all sorts of names. You're too Jew, you're bush, you're not happening, you're not cool. So the truth is, this boy, this person, had forgotten that there were cameras.
Yeah.
And he spoke with his boys the way they would normally speak.
Yeah.
None of the other boys that were with him, none stood up to him.
Yeah.
In fact, the one that did the best, he said, God forbid, that was the best he could do. But in his heart, did he think there may be some truth to what this man is saying? In their minds, were they thinking it's true? Why do you hear some men say, I don't want to even have a daughter? All the things I've done, I don't want it to happen to my daughter. You know? So now we're calling out Nigerian men today, because every time we discuss the girls, we teach girls how to dress, how to close their legs, how to sit properly, how to talk. Men, how are you raising our boys? What are you telling our boys once they leave the comfort and the protection of their mothers and they go out into the world and meet fellow boys? What are you teaching them?
Because they make it look as like some kind of trophy as a man. You know, once you become a teenager, you know, they expect you to be doing some things. You know, they are disappointed to find that you're still a virgin at 21. Are you not a man? You know, these are the kind of mentalities that sow the seeds to believe that you can run train. That we can do it we are boys, there's this girl that we can all have access to. Let me come to you, too. What are your thoughts? When you saw this video, what came to mind?
Okay, so I remember last week, we had a conversation about a good name and, you know, inheritance. And the first thing that came to my mind that this is an Awolowo lineage, right? When we hear the name Awolowo, somehow you will give that respect to that family. I'd seen Seyi Awolowo in a few instances, and when people said, oh, this is Seyi Awolowo, as in, I didn't look at him as a Seyi Awolowo, I looked at him as an Awolowo's seed. And when I saw this video, I was like, good name, good name. may it not be years down the line when the good name we've been trying to protect, you know, would be altered by somebody's actions or inactions. And the second thing I was going to say is that people like this would forever exist in the society. So we must begin to have conversations with our own within our space, even though there's a ripple effect at the end of the day because your children will still interact with such people. So it's a question of the higher voice who has more reasons to stay by the truth that you've passed on to this child. The third thing I was also going to say that celebrities, I don't know, there are some values that, even if they're your personal thoughts, please hold it. Don't, I mean, because sometimes I see some celebrities saying some things and I'm like, are you Nigerian too?
Toby, my worry is that, listen, it's a reality show.
Yeah.
We're being real.
Yes.
The realer you are, the better for us. And the cameras are there. And what we should be, instead of condemning Seyi Awolowo, we should be seeing it as feedback
Back to us.
to us as Nigerians, because it's so easy to say, oh, can he say that kind of thing? But all of us are pointing fingers at him. Our brothers, our uncles are doing exactly the same thing. And we need to see it as feedback. Like, how do we fix the society? Let me go on a break. And we come back, we'll take a few phone calls and discuss more on this. Stay with us, we'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.